What is up, everybody? Welcome to the We Run With It podcast, hosted by Tim Murphy. I am joined today by my good buddy, Chris Monsini. Just bear with us here. It's 5 a.m., and I don't know if we're fully awake yet. But welcome, Chris. Welcome back, I should say.
Thanks, bud. Thank you very much. Glad to be back on.
Hell yeah. So it's been a year and a half, or a little over. We started the last episode, I believe, kind of on the premise of you were just getting rolling on starting Hercules Electric, starting your own business, getting it rolling. And why don't we check in on the progress, how everything's going, and then let's start talking about running.
Yeah, man, thanks. So, yeah, that was a while back. Things have progressed significantly. We're rolling now. We have 6 employees, I should say. A couple part-time people. Multiple projects in the books now, and multiple things up and coming, and that we're currently working on. So seriously, no complaints. It's going well.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I'm proud and happy to be along for the journey. That's for sure. All right, so let's get into the real Monsini stuff. So how long have you been going at the run game for? We'll start fresh because I'm sure no one heard the first episode.
Yeah, 2018. 2018 was the beginning. Just decided, got to work weaknesses. I've always hated running, so that's where I decided to pick it up and just get into it. I hated it. I still hate it, and so in some capacity. But just got into it. First run, I think I did. I was talking about this recently. Back then, I did like 0.7 miles, and I was like, "This is awful." You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And then I'm like, tomorrow I'm just gonna try to hit a mile. So that's what I did, and then just gradually increased from there.
Nice. Yeah, I could similar. I mean, my picking back up running only started 4 years ago for me. Obviously, we did CrossFit together 10 plus years ago, but running has been the past 4 years, and I looked back at my first run, it was like 0.8. I bitched out. I didn't even make it a full mile.
Right.
So lots changed since then. Let's go over what do you think? I know obviously you've been dealing with some injuries and work's been crazy lately, but what's some things that have kept you consistent over the years?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the key to consistency is to simplify things, right? So we tend to complicate things as humans. Like, we're always looking for reasons to not do things, or we overcomplicate it. I may have even used this example last time. I don't remember. But myself included here, like when we think about doing something or taking something on, using running as an example, people are like, well, I got to get new running shoes, or I have to get running shoes. I got to get, running shorts. I got to get a running belt, a water bottle, whatever, you name it. And then we start looking, okay, I'm going to order some shoes. And then, there's 500 different pairs and brands, and this one has a carbon plate and this one doesn't. And it's like, oh, these are $250. And, we end up talking ourselves out of doing things inadvertently because we overanalyze, you know what I mean? When in reality, we just have to simplify it, just get out there and run. You know what I'm saying? Don't overcomplicate it. So, in my opinion, key to consistency is simplifying it and then creating habits and routines. So if you, get up and get your run in first thing in the morning, becomes part of your daily routine. It's not really about the running at that point. It's about your daily routine. This is how I am the most productive. This is how I am the best employee or employer or husband or wife and whatnot. So simplicity, and then making it not about the running itself, making it about, it's just your daily habits. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, what about it, I guess, makes it, why is it like not making the running itself a big point?
Why is it about not making the running the focus?
Yeah.
Because we can find reasons to quit. You know what I mean? Like, I think when you incorporate running into your daily or weekly routines, right, it becomes part of who you are, right? So there's days where like I'm beat up and stuff like that, and maybe I can't get after that hard run, but I still get outside and go for a walk because it's just part of my routine. Do you know what I mean? So like making that the focus, unless you have a race or something like that and you're really hyper focused on a task ahead, you know what I mean? I think that just helps for longevity, making it part of who you are and what you do rather than focusing on the running aspect itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just instead of allowing outside influences to tell you when you can and can't run, it's just what you do on a daily basis.
Right.
Obviously, if you not have a broken leg or something. But
right.
Even in that case, you can get out there. You can move.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about, I mean, you gave me the Ralph Waldo Emerson little handbook.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I'm only 4 pages in.
Yeah,
and I probably only understood one so far.
3 words.
Or fully understood one, I should say. Bring me through the quote that you were, or, you can paraphrase, obviously. I forgot the book. I was going to say it's in my truck. But,
oh, good. I'm good.
You can paraphrase, but bring me through what you were telling me about last week in our run.
Bear with me. I'm going to butcher it. But
that's all right.
He says in there something along the lines of, I'm not even going to try to quote him, but he says how we dismiss our own thoughts, and then we end up, at some point in the future, we end up having to take our own advice from another, right? And obviously what he's getting at, and I would encourage anybody to pick up the book or look it up and read it. But he's talking about like we have these tendencies to dismiss our own thoughts, right? We might think about saying something or we think about doing something and then we disregard that because it's our thought and we think that's a crazy idea or that sounds ridiculous and people are going to judge or whatnot. And then next thing you know, you're scrolling on Instagram or something and you see an ad for exactly what you were thinking, or you listen to a lecture or something like that and you hear somebody talking about points that you've thought about yourself and you're like, like, I guess the point there is like, don't disregard your thoughts, right? Don't disregard your feelings. Be true to who you are and listen to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I guess I kind of have a tiny bit of a spin-off from it is like to listen to your thoughts and then getting the advice from someone else. It's to me, it brings me to like when you hear a lot of people when they're in their like 30s and 40s, or I should say like going back to like when I was in high school, you're talking to people who are in their 30s and 40s and it's always, oh, don't do what I did, kid. Mm-hmm. Like this typical, all of a sudden they have the world figured out at 40, but their life's still miserable. Or maybe not miserable, but it's their dreams are already gone in the sense of they wrote them off.
Right.
That's where I kind of instantly went with that quote too, is like you're those people, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong. Obviously, they still could be living a good life, but they wrote their dreams off just because of whatever circumstances happened to them. And then they're out there preaching to somebody younger to not pretty much follow their dreams. It's just, I don't know. It's a tough one to follow. Well, I guess even some of them are preaching to go after your dreams just because they didn't. I guess it could work the flip side too. But some people also will project, obviously, out to the world what happened to them. So
right, they think, I couldn't do this, so why can you basically?
Hells yeah. What are we gonna hop onto? That was a good one. I like Ralph.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's good. It's good stuff. It's deep.
Yeah. Again, everybody, it's the brain fog. Chris's time block, just so people know. And yes, I'm talking shit. Chris's time block for me is between like 4 a.m. and 5:17. So that's all I get. I had to make my creative mind work in the morning. But let's bring them through. Let's bring everybody through. You were, or are, I should say, CrossFit level 2.
Yeah, level
2 coach.
Yep.
You spent years training. What were some things, or even if it's just one thing, what was something that stuck out with you all the years of coaching, and what were some things that like you really enjoyed about being a coach at CrossFit?
Yeah. We might have touched on this last time, but either way, it's worth repeating. So the best part of coaching, no doubt, was the people, right? That's what kept me going back. And even to this day, coaching in some capacity, it's not CrossFit right now, but it's in other realms, you know what I mean? Dealing with younger people and dealing with the industry I'm in. Coaching in general, but to bring it back to CrossFit, is getting people to understand that they're capable of more than what they thought, right? And that's what I loved about CrossFit and it varied from the 17-year-old kid to the 65-year-old woman. They walk through the doors and they have this preconceived notion or these preconceived thoughts about themselves. Like, they look at somebody doing pull-ups and they're like, I could never do that. But over time and consistency, before you know it, they're doing pull-ups, and then they're walking out thinking like, wow, I never thought I would ever be able to do that, and it's expanding that mind. So then that ripples into other areas of life. So, hey, I'm capable of way more than I thought, So now what does that mean at home, at work, in my relationships? Like, maybe I can do things that I always thought I couldn't,
Yeah.
That's
like
by far
perspective on it, way beyond the gym.
Yeah. It's funny. It's never really, to go full circle back to where we started with running, it's never really about the task at hand. You know what I'm saying? That's just the mechanism or the vehicle to get us to the point, right? So like in this case that we just talked about, pull-ups, CrossFit, that might be the mechanism, but the true learning, the true lesson is like expanding their mind. I'm capable. I can do more. I shouldn't put limits or boundaries on myself. You know what I mean? Right back to running, like we said, making it not about the running itself, making it a part of your daily routine. My first run was under a mile. Now we're doing whatever, marathons, ultra marathons.
Yeah.
It's not really about the running.
Yeah.
It never was,
Yeah. It's the constant, well, I was going to say constant improvement, but it doesn't necessarily ebbs and flows. You go up and down with training. It's more of like you were saying, the consistency of it and seeing what limits you can push with yourself, not just at the gym, but outside of the gym, or not just on a run, but outside of a run. I think,
for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely it's wild to me that even though you hear it all the time, like the days you don't want to do it and then you actually go out and get it done are the days that you still might not necessarily feel the best while you're doing it, but after, it's just I just can't explain it. Every time I'm like, it's like you figure like me and you were doing 5 a.m. CrossFit 13 years ago together. I had hockey before high school at 4 a.m. Like, so many days I've woken up early and just been like, oh, I don't want to do this. As soon as you wake up, your brain's just already fighting you, and you know it's gonna make you feel better. It's just like it's crazy how like tens of years, you can still have to fight your own brain.
Oh yeah.
But I guess the showing up part, like you also know at the same time that you just gotta tell that voice to shut up.
Yeah. I mean, I've never not felt better after a run.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I've never felt worse. Yeah.
But I even mean mentally. Like, I've never regretted going out for a run.
Yeah.
But there's days where I wake up and I'm like, I'm sleeping in today. Go back to bed. And then later on, I regret not getting up, not going out there. You know what I mean? So it's always worth it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Staying on the pushing yourself, you did your first 50K this summer. How'd that go?
It was awesome. That was truly an uncomparable experience. It was awesome, dude. It far exceeded my expectations. I knew it was going to be tough. I expected it to be hard, mentally and physically. But I wasn't quite ready for the mental piece. I don't know how to actually word that. I didn't expect it to be what it was. I should say it that way. Obviously I was ready, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. But I guess I just had a different idea about what it was going to be and what it was going to be like.
In what way?
I don't know. It's hard to explain. I
like just different because you're used to the road marathon, so it was like
I mean,
it was different in that sense, or
it was definitely different in that sense. When you're out on a run or when you're out during a marathon on asphalt, right? You go through all of those ups and downs mentally as you're running. You know, it's difficult. You're maintaining a somewhat competitive pace for yourself, not in general. But with this ultra, it's all trails and elevation. You know the course. So that wasn't really as much of a factor, right? It was way, way, way more of just a mental grind of like, I'm going to be out here for a long time, you know? And the things that start to creep in aren't like, my hamstring's tight or my knee is sore. You know, it was way more of the, sorry, losing my train of thought, some noise out there. It was way more of like, this sucks. You know, you're out in the woods, you're out in the trails, and you're not moving very fast, and it's just a grind. You know you're going to be out there all day. I guess in that way it was much different. Yeah. I don't know if that clarified anything.
I think that's what draws some people to it and what pushes some people away. Yeah. I mean, like you said, you called me after and you loved it.
Oh my God.
Obviously, awesome. Yeah, but I think, and I did too. That's why I would much rather trail run than road run.
Oh yeah.
Most days, actually. It probably fits my personality. I shouldn't say that. I'm pretty bipolar. Like I love a couple trail runs a week, but then I love being able to let it rip on the asphalt, so you're not worried about. Like you can find out what your actual pace is. Right. Not that I care that much, but you can find out what your actual pace is without worrying about rolling your ankle on a rock or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess that's the only difference. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. It's way. The marathon is the marathon, and once you've done a marathon, once you've done a marathon and it's on the road, it's not an ultra marathon because every ultra marathon course is way different. It's you know what you're signed up for, kind of. I
Yeah.
feel like, and so going into an ultra marathon, especially your first one, it's just a totally different ball game than that. And like you said, like there's some points in that course where you have to power hike. I mean, it's straight uphill, so you're like, there's no way you're running. So it also I can see the mental thing getting to you, because you're like, right off the bat you have to start power hiking, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be a long day.
Yeah.
I can't run this whole thing.
Absolutely.
But
there's just something different about it. It's like it's primal. You know what I mean? You're in the woods. You're hiking up a mountain and rocks and mud, and you know, you could easily be like, this is awful, this sucks, and then bowing out. But like, we don't do that. Number one.
yeah, we ain't no bitches.
But yeah, it was awesome. It was just such a great experience. Stop, everybody. It was such a great experience, and I'm definitely gonna do another.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Well, I mean, that was good, because I was going to wrap it up anyway. So our alarm for work got us going.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Monsini, we'll definitely have way more of these for everybody. But that was
bud.
That was a good start again.
Yeah.
Start number 2.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming on, brother.
All right, man. Thank you.
Peace.